Hello, my name is Kevin Molis, the Malden Police Chief. Today is February 21st, 2019, and this video is part of an initiative that we're trying to engage the public as often and in as many ways as we can to let you know what's going on in the community, what's going on with your police department. So last week when I spoke, I gave you some preliminary information or an overview about the number of calls that the police department is involved in. So during the past week, the Malden Police were engaged in 966 calls for different types of service. We call these CADs, computer-aided dispatch events. And those resemble any type of incident where a police officer is called to a situation or in the course of their patrol duties is engaged in some type of police action. So 966 police computer-aided dispatch events. Now, included in that, there are 435 directed patrols. Directed patrols are when a police officer, on their own initiative or by some direction, goes to a specific part of the city with visible police presence or police engagement. And we often see this in schools, MBTA station, the warming center, or some location because of recent trends or characteristics we believe they would benefit by the presence of a police officer. During the past week, the police took 95 police reports and took 8 people into custody. Now, one of the things I want to mention to you are the different types of crimes. And one of the ones that I often mention to members of the public is the situation of breaks into motor vehicles. And we find in the majority of these cases, the motor vehicle is unlocked. And just in the past week, we had an example of that. At a location in the city, someone had left their motor vehicle unlocked, and additionally, they left their wallet inside the vehicle. Someone entered the vehicle and stole the wallet, which contained $260 in cash and 6 credit cards. Those credit cards were subsequently used in Malden and Lynn, and as a result of an investigation by the detectives and some use of social media, a suspect has been identified and will be charged with those crimes. But again, that crime could have been prevented if the vehicle was unlocked and there were no valuables inside. So those are the 2 things that you can do to make your property safer and reduce the number of crimes of that nature that we see. We also had a motor vehicle stolen in the city at a local business. Someone had entered the vehicle, stole it, and drove it out of the city. But as a result of an investigation that was led by Detective Kevin Molis and the Boston Police, the vehicle was located in Boston, and detectives were able to watch that vehicle and monitor it and successfully apprehend someone inside the vehicle. So the person that was responsible for that theft has been taken into custody. Some of the things I want to highlight that the police department is doing on a positive note, Officer Trent Headley has been recently assigned to the middle schools. And I'm seeing and hearing a number of positive interactions that Officer Headley is having with the school population, whether it be students, parents, or faculty members. This is a great initiative for the police to be present in the schools, to develop a positive relationship with the schools, and for young people to see the police as someone who is a resource and someone they get to know on a personal basis. So I want to commend Officer Headley for his work right early on, and I know this is going to be a process that's going to be a positive thing for the community and the department. The issue of the opioid epidemic is something that most of us know about. It's affected many people in our community, but it's not only us, it's the entire region, it's the entire country. It's something that everybody seems to know someone who has been affected by. So just to illustrate that, during the past week, my officers did respond to an overdose call along with EMS. Narcan was successfully administered to the victim, and the person was able to recover and brought to a hospital. But these type of incidents keep us all aware that this crisis, this epidemic, is something that we continue to deal with. But I am happy to say that we do not deal with it alone. We are supported by many people. And I know that Malden Overcoming Addiction is one of the greatest examples of a community-based organization of people who care about those that are suffering, families of those that are suffering from this addiction. And I want to thank them, but I want to point out that we continue to be on the front lines of this societal crisis. I want to mention something very, very positive that's happened. Through the help of Detective Sergeant Pete Mitchell we have now started what we call a Safe Zone Initiative. This models something that's done in other cities and actually around the whole country. Now, the Safe Zone Initiative is designed to protect people who are engaged in the sale of items, and most of these sales are arranged online. And many times in these cases, we see people that are victims of robbery or fraud or some deceitful practice. So the Safe Zone Initiative allows people who are going to engage in the buying or selling of these items to do so in the safe environment of the police station, whether it be in the lobby or the public parking lot. Now, just this past week, we had an incident where someone tried to engage in the sale of sneakers, selling them for $1,900, and they arranged for the sale to take place outside their residence. Well, the people that came to buy the sneakers robbed them of the sneakers in an unarmed robbery, which is under investigation. But with the Safe Zone Initiative, these type of transactions would take place at a police station. So it enhances the safety of the transaction and protects actually the buyer and the seller. And the important thing to realize, if you are someone who is buying something or selling it, and you ask the other person to do the sale at the safe zone at the police station and they won't do it, that should be a cautionary indicator to you that maybe you shouldn't do that sale. So I want to thank Pete Mitchell for looking at the trend of that type of crime and coming up with a solution by which we can maybe reduce those things from happening. I want to commend Officer Bob Clementi, a patrol officer out on patrol. We had received a report of a missing 65-year-old woman in some type of distress, and Bob was on patrol and his attention got directed to a motor vehicle where he located the woman. He was able to make sure she got to a hospital and she was reunited with her grateful family, who reached out to me to thank Bob, and I want to thank Bob for that. That's one of the things that, you know, police come to work to help, and that was a great example of Bob being able to help someone and actually alleviate the fears of this family. So in closing, I want to first of all thank you for your time and attention. And if you listened to me last week, you might have heard my reference to the tragic death of New York City Police Detective Brian Simonsen, who was killed in a call to a robbery in progress in the 102nd Precinct in Queens, New York last week. Well, yesterday I made the journey to Hampton Bays, New York to attend his funeral. And as I stood outside the church as part of a frozen sea of blue on that cold morning, I listened to the words of New York City Police Commissioner James O'Neill. He spoke with a powerful emotional eloquence because his words captured the essence of what policing really is. It's about service and sacrifice. And today, I told you about the number of calls your Malden police officers have gone to. I think it was 966 or something like that. That's the number of calls that they've been involved in. And I tried to tell you some of the things that they've done for you. But as I stood in the cold yesterday in Hampton Bays, New York, and I listened to Commissioner O'Neill, he said a number of powerful things, and this is what he said. He said, so the next time you see the lights and hear the sirens, take a moment to think about who answers those calls for help. They are your police, he said. And here I can say, it's your Malden police, who are always ready and willing to answer your call. So I want to thank you for your time, and I'm going to end my words today by directing you to a link that will contain some powerful imagery in the words of Commissioner O'Neill at the funeral yesterday. I'm going to ask you to watch them, to listen to what he said, and just think about them. Think about what we're here to do for you, and that we'll always be here for you. So thank you again. I look forward to speaking to you in the future. Have a safe day and a safe week. God bless.
Next time you see the lights and you hear the sirens, take a moment to think about who answers those calls for help. Where are they going? What might await them? Take a moment to appreciate that these people, your neighbors, who are putting themselves in harm's way to keep you safe. They don't know you. They may never have seen you, never spoken to you, but they will do everything in their power to protect you. They will put your lives above their own. That's who they are. They are the very best among us. They are the NYPD. They are Detective Brian Simonsen.